Bob, the big talker tonight, Hurricane Florence, and really the devastation that could come with what it's bringing.
Yeah, and not only just North Carolina, you know, a lot of the focus has been on North Carolina. Folks in South Carolina and even in Georgia now. Georgia, the Appalachians also could see some catastrophic flooding. Things have changed a little bit as high pressure is expected to build to the north of it, a little stronger than some of the models suggested just a day ago. Well, for us, we've had some storms around, scattered about, a little bit more action tomorrow afternoon, I believe. We've had some evening storms too near Nokomis and down near Venice as well. That activity now starting to wind down, pushing off into the Gulf, and you can see just some light rainfall occurring now. But the rain had been pretty heavy, still light to moderate precipitation occurring near South Venice. That lightning, though, now just getting over as the storm has weakened as it pushes off into the Gulf of Mexico. This is going to throw some other boundaries around, though, and we could see some other isolated cells pop up in the next hour or so, especially north into North Sarasota and into Manatee counties. Well, we'll get to the tropics. That's where all the action is right now, obviously. And we're watching is Florence not as impressive on the satellite imagery tonight, but don't let that fool you. It's going to get bigger, we think, tomorrow. It's gone through that secondary eye wall replacement, maybe encountering a little shear on the western edge here. The tops are starting to get colder, too, and that indicates just in the last hour or so, the system may be just now reorganizing as it pushes off to the west-northwest. This is the wind radius. Now, this could change. The forecast in 3, 4, 5 days from now is all over the place as far as the forecast models go. So although this is showing a hit toward, it looks like North Carolina, the expanse of the storms as far as the wind reach, tropical storm force winds in this yellow extending all throughout North Carolina. That means massive power outages, and then the hurricane force core winds will be a little smaller, but still that could stretch out over 60 to 90 miles from the center of the storm. And there's still a chance it could just kind of linger right there and then push off toward the southwest in time. Now, this rainfall graphic, notice what's happened here. This is the European model showing the yellow areas. That's 10 to 20 inches of rainfall. Now that stretches down into Georgia, northeast Georgia, in the mountains there as well. That would cause catastrophic flooding. Obviously, that kind of storm with that kind of rain in the mountains there will cause some significant problems with flash flooding and even some mudslides. Now, the storm surge warning covers a huge chunk of North Carolina all the way down into South Carolina, and that may have to be switched down south. This is a watch now for a life-threatening storm surge. And just to give you some of the heights, this little area of yellow right there and the darker green and lighter green, that's 13 to 15-foot storm surge anticipated with the present track. Now, that track can change. That's a worst-case scenario, but things are changing over the next several days. We'll see, I think, shifts back and forth, mainly to the south and west now, it looks like. Isaac, on the other hand, not a very well-organized storm at all. It's pushing to the west. In fact, it's a tropical storm, and it looks like it will stay a tropical storm as it approaches the islands, although there are hurricane, I should say, warnings out for parts of the northern Leeward Islands, the Lesser Antilles there. A tropical storm warning in effect to the northern extreme portions of those islands. And then it stays as a tropical storm. There's a chance it could even dissipate here. Upper level winds are pretty strong. It could blow it apart. We're going to keep it in the mix zone, watch it closely. The forecast models are to the north here, one sweet, and then the other suggestion is more to the west, as high pressure will kind of block it from getting into Florida's picture. This one appears to be a Texas or Mexico storm. A good chance of that becoming Joyce in the future, and those chances are very high for this invest area. More than likely, it'll become a tropical depression or storm in a couple of days from now in the southwest Gulf of Mexico. It's warm, it's muggy out there. It feels like 91. The high today was 93, well above the average. Look for temperatures to be around 90 tomorrow again. And a good chance for scattered afternoon and evening storms in the mix. A little bit better chance of that happening later in the day. East winds turn to the northwest at 5 to 10 knots. A light chop out there. As far as the 7-day forecast goes, a good chance for scattered storms through Thursday. A little less action on Friday. There'll still be some around. And then a pretty good weekend if it looks like Florence stays away and doesn't get too close to us. We'll see a slight chance for showers, but once again, if it gets closer to us, sometimes it can actually throw some dry air our way, and these rain chances may go down a little bit. We'll see how that plays out, but right now, just calling for a slight chance over the weekend. Jacqueline?
All right, Bob, thank you.